Shadi Khaloul, right?
Yes.
Major IDF?
Yeah, I am major in the IDF and
IDF
reserve.
Reserve.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for coming to our Christian Maronite town in northern Israel in the Lebanese-Israeli border. We are in Upper Galilee, in the Galilee, in a town called Jish. And this is a mixed Christian Maronite majority with Muslim Arabs. And I'm saying Muslim Arabs because the Maronites are not Arabs. They are Aramaic Syriac people who still speak Jesus language and preserve Jesus language in this heart of the Galilee region. Here we are at the border with Lebanon. We see Lebanon in, like, behind us. That's the top, like, peak mountain. It's called Maroun al-Ras, means the head of Maroun. It was one time in the past a Maronite stronghold, and the Mamluks, and since the Arab Islamic conquest, they actually occupied this land and did ethnic cleansing for the Christian Aramaic population. So this town today, unfortunately, still carry our forefathers' name, as most of the southern Lebanese town in this region, and it has Aramaic names that our forefathers, as early Christians, called it. In that tongue of Jesus,
But
and
that
our
is
tongue.
in
And it's in Lebanon,
Lebanon.
and now it is all inhabited by Muslim Shia that actually did ethnic cleansing for our Christian communities in here, in this region. And we are facing now, as Israel, a state, this threat as our forefathers, Christians before, faced and actually were annihilated, and that's what they are trying to do for the Jewish people here in Israel and for us as a minority of Christians living within the Jewish state of Israel.
Right, you have a very small percentage of people in Israel that are Christians, like less than 2%. So you are a
2%,
very
yeah.
small minority.
Yes.
But this village is mostly Christian?
Yeah, mostly Christian. This
Oh,
village,
amazing.
yes.
So,
Like 60%.
okay, all right. So, since the start of the war, we have seen a lot of rockets and anti-tank guided missiles and things being fired into here. How has that affected you here?
Okay, so first of all, we are like all Israelis. This is a very close region to the border. We are 2.2 miles from Israeli-Lebanese border here, inside Israel. And these communities, all of them are evacuated. About 63,000 people are evacuated. So we are not evacuated because there is like a line that, you know,
You're just
far enough to be evacuated. And but most of the people evacuated, and our town actually, businesses are closed. You hardly find people coming from outside, and restaurants, businesses work maybe half time, like half day. They have schools closed. The children are at home. Many people took their families to Haifa or other further places from the border because they don't want to hear these bombings and artillery shootings and the shooting from Hezbollah to our communities and to our region, which cause a lot of actually explosions around, and people just take their kids and leave this region away from that. Exactly, yeah. Because,
so in addition to the 63,000 that have left, that have been evacuated, there are many more that have left voluntarily.
Many voluntarily, and many Christian families here actually, because they are not evacuated, they do it voluntarily, but nobody actually supporting them, because if you are evacuated, then the government should pay that for you. But in our case, when we do it voluntarily, nobody will pay for leaving this area and staying in Haifa, and you have no work, and your work is affected, everything is affected. Same threat like Hamas did in our southern communities, they can do it here as well, Hezbollah. And she said, go take care of your community as well. You have now another mission to do for your personal NGO, Aramaic NGO.
Okay, yeah. So tell me about your NGO then.
So my NGO is Aramaic, Israeli Christian Aramaic NGO. It's called ICAA. And it is the main goal for it is to preserve our Aramaic language and identity as early Christians in this land, and help our people integrate better within the state of Israel, encourage them to recruit, to enlist in the IDF, to be part of this country, and together defend this state of Israel from this enemy that actually annihilated our forefathers back then and are now trying to annihilate also the Jewish people in this land. So we are happy, we encourage in our NGO to integrate, because this country is the only state that actually Christians as a minority in it feel safe and feel freedom and enjoy democracy and values of Western values that we share together with the other Western world. And if no state will exist here, Christians will not exist as well. So our obligation as a Christian community is to defend our home, our family, and Israel is our home. We need to defend it together with the Jews.
Very good. We have heard the leadership of the IDF and of the Israeli state talking about that if Hezbollah doesn't stop firing all these missiles, that they're going to have to make them stop by going in militarily. Do you see that happening? Is that close? Could that?
Let me analyze for you the situation. So let's analyze first the situation and who is Hezbollah. People are not aware that Hezbollah is not only what they call terrorist army. I call it an army of terror fighters or terrorists. That is Hezbollah. It's stronger than actually some European armies don't carry the same ammunition and amount of ammunition that Hezbollah carries. We are talking about 150,000 missiles and rockets. We are talking about drones, thousands of drones. We are talking about mortar shells, talking about precision guided missiles. We are talking about anti-tank missiles, anti-ship missiles. Its power of fire and ammunition is stronger than some European armies. And that's what we are facing. We are not facing like just Hezbollah. Hezbollah is Iran. And Iran is sitting in our borders here. This is not Lebanon, our neighbor anymore. It's Iran neighboring us. And here is Syria from northeast of us, the Hermon Mountain and Golan Heights. This is also Syria. So Iran is already in Lebanon, in Syria, and from here up till Iran, we have Lebanon is Iran, Syria is Iran, Iraq is Iran, and Iran is Iran. So all is this Iran already. And that's a huge existential threat for our Israeli state as a Jewish democratic state, the only one in the Middle East that we, Christian, Jews, Muslims, Arabs, whoever it is, we all live together in coexistence better than all other countries in the Middle East. So Hezbollah need to be eliminated. How? I elected a government in Israel and praying that God will lead this government to get rid of this enemy. It's obligation to get rid of this enemy and eliminate it and make our life here safe, better, and make the Lebanese actually be freed from these people who are taking them hostages on the same interest of Iranian Ayatollah Khamenei Islamic Revolution interest. This is not a Lebanese war. This is Israeli that are trying to defend themselves from Islamic Republic of Iran, who has different values from our values, and they don't want to see us exist here. And they use Palestinians now, they don't care about Hamas, let's be honest. They don't care about Hamas. They're using Hamas and the Sunni Palestinian or Arabs only as for their cause now to continue producing or developing their nuclear program and making Israel busy here with these proxies and actually build a trade path from Iran to the Mediterranean
that Iranian
and control
crescent
exactly. That's
about.
the Iranian crescent.
Right.
That's what they care. They care less about Hamas. They killed Palestinians in Syria in Yarmouk refugee camp in Damascus. They massacred Palestinians. So nobody can convince us today that they really care about Hamas or they want. It's it's called unification of fronts only because it is an interest of Iran. And once Hamas is not effective anymore, they will leave it, because at the first step they want to take Lebanon in their hands, control it, eliminate the Christian control or hegemony in Lebanon, which was founded by Christian Maronites back then, who have Aramaic background, not Arabic background. And it was the only place where Christians feel safe in this region was Lebanon. And now it is taken and controlled by them, and Christians are migrating. Those native Lebanese Christians, 10 million worldwide, scattered all over the world, and only hardly 1 million left in Lebanon, oppressed by Hezbollah, and maybe threatened now as well. If this war will start in big scale between both sides, we might find them as well suffering, which has nothing to do with them.
Right.
Without having nothing to do with them.
Right. There are thousands of UN peacekeepers just across the border in Lebanon with UNFIL. Is there any more worthless UN agency besides? I mean, they are there supposedly as peacekeepers. They're not keeping the peace.
Let me tell you, I found it very, very
Is it working?
ridiculous to talk about UNIFIL, and about when I hear some people talking about 1701, implementing 1701, means retreating Hezbollah back to the litany. That's ridiculous.
You don't think it'll happen?
It's not that it will not happen. It also, it's just a joke. We had 1701 before October 7, and Hezbollah was in our borders already. With this 1701, with UNIFIL being there watching them and allowing them to come close to the border and building posts and towers and collecting intelligence and harassing soldiers and trying to infiltrate the fence couple of times before actually October 7. So now what they want to do, to go back to the same scenario before October 7 with 1701, with UNIFIL force watching them and do nothing, this is not the solution. The solution is 1559. 1559 UN resolution talking about disarming Hezbollah and all foreign militias from Lebanon. Hezbollah is a foreign militia. It is locals led by foreign interest, Iranian, like proxies, and they declare it. We are Iranian proxy. We are getting our orders from Iran. And Hezbollah should be disarmed. Once Hezbollah disarmed, we will have peace with Lebanon, and we will have peace with all the surrounding Arab countries. If the West want peace in this region, they should disarm this militia and allow the Lebanese and free the Lebanese and liberate the Lebanese, or just have a different Lebanese system. The Christians also in Lebanon are, I feel, as my brothers and sisters as well. They are poor, they are actually very, very weak now. They cannot defend themselves from Hezbollah, and they are actually suffering and oppressed by them, not even being able to speak out loudly for their cause. The best solution for Lebanon is federation. It's not about 1701, it's about 1559, which is disarming Hezbollah. And disarming Hezbollah will bring peace to this region, will bring peace to Jews, to Christians, and to Muslims who want to live peacefully and in coexistence in this region.
Do you think that the IDF there's a lot of IDF up here, do you think they have the manpower to do what you say needs to be done?
I believe the IDF can do and eliminate this threat if we got the green light from also USA to do it. And it's only a matter of time. Let's be honest, it's a matter of time. If Hezbollah will keep provocating us and killing and firing to our community. They killed a person not far from here last week. And a month ago, they killed a person there with anti-tank missiles. They shot anti-tank missile to an engineer who was just fixing a electricity there with his team. And if this continue, Israel has full right to defend its borders and its citizens. So
Israel has
the full right to protect its citizens and defend its borders from this, what we call ISIS Hezbollah. And ISIS Hezbollah, as I said, 10 times stronger than Hamas. They can do infiltration and incursion as well. And so we must be ready, and the IDF is ready. As you see in this region, a lot of army is here, a lot of military force, and they are ready to act in case things will deteriorate more, and it is already deteriorated. And you just heard now the artillery responding back to sources of fire in Lebanon. But in order to eliminate this threat, it needs really a huge full-scale war in order to eliminate it. And I hope we will not go there. I hope the US will, with France and other powers, will make a deal, a peaceful deal, to disarm Hezbollah and save us and the Lebanese people from this conflict.